Hello, everyone, and welcome to RAMSoholic Season 1, Episode 1. I'm your host, Shay. You could find me on Twitter at Shay Tweeted At. You can also find other team members from Toilets to Titles on their Twitter handle at Toilets to Titles. Today, we're going to go in depth on a few of our top picks by the LA Rams, as well as quickly discuss some late round gems that the Rams were able to snag. And I'm going to finish it off by giving my final grade. I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible, but I'll be honest with you, as a little teaser, I was very pleased with less need for once. Let's cue the intro.
Let's swap a verse, and I can play ball in real life. So when they make it fun, it never work. They think they offended me. I'm dodging that energy. I know who my friends are now. You currently dead to me. This shit gon' last a century. And every time they mention me, increase my life expectancy. Maybe this my destiny. Loved and hated, then hated and loved. Never betrayed to be a thug, but know a couple who hold slugs. Ain't fighting Spider-Man, but everything I'm spitting venom. Had to look in the mirror and get my shit together. Cause sometimes you think it's over, but it's only getting better. Yeah, good friends going with the wind, like Pac said. Legends never die, so we not dead. I'm a fresh white boy, you can call me a pothead. If you say I ain't got bread, hate my life.
Also, you can find all of our content, including articles, mock drafts, player rankings, and episodes at toiletstotitles.com. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Check out our sister network for all of your college football needs, the CFB Nation YouTube channel. Just type in CFB Nation in YouTube, click subscribe, like the content there. There's a lot of great content if you're big in the college scene and you want to get some pre-draft entertainment in, check them out. Also hop on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and review. Lastly, if you'd like to interact with the team, discuss NFL, fantasy football, or college football, or if you'd like to get into our weekly mock drafts, reach out to me or Coach Sheps at Coach Sheps to get into our Gilded chat. All right, let's start with the Rams' first pick in the 2023 NFL draft. The Rams had pick 36, and they went with Steve Avila, guard out of TCU, weighted at 334 pounds, big boy as a guard, 6'4". Now, he was talked about as the best guard probably prior to the draft. I know the Dallas Cowboys had him on their radar and were very close to picking him. Thank God we were able to snag him, because if you're a Rams fan, you know that last year a big issue for us was the offensive line. And I would say it was mainly due to health. The Rams were not healthy up front. Injuries week after week after week led to a lot of changes on the O-line. Besides Robert Havenstein, every offensive lineman was out. So, it was definitely a pick that was a need for the Rams. Avila was named American 2 times in 2021 and 2022, and in that time frame allowed 0 sacks. It's always good, right? Last year, he only allowed 2 hits on his quarterback with 9 hurries in the 15 games he played. Kid's just a stud, And this is coming from a guy who played against some stiff competition in the Big 12, as well as the championship game where he played Georgia. And if you know anything about the college scene, Georgia's defensive line was the best. He's a very versatile player as well on the offensive line. He played every position on the offensive line besides left tackle. So I envision him being our starting left or right guard. Both are very possible. Coleman Shelton might have him beat at right guard, but Alaric Jackson's still there, and him and Noteboom are our left tackles. Personally, I'm leaning Jackson to be our left tackle. I think he played better when there. Noteboom was actually better as a guard, but I feel Avila is going to be a starter. So who's Noteboom going to take the spot of Avila or Coleman Shelton? Personally, what I would do is I would take Brian Allen, put him as a death piece. He's always injured, undersized center. And I put Shelton there. Our run game was so much better with Shelton at center. And I would throw no boom at guard if we don't trade or release him before or after June 1st to save some money. Both of those are options. But if he is on the roster, the 3 years, $40 million contract we gave him, I think we may have to start him. To me, it's a good issue to have for the Rams that we have depth to talk about. We can't just say, oh, we could throw this guy here because it's a need or it's the only thing we have. No, we have some versatility now on the offensive line, and I'm very happy about that. His 40 time was 5.21 seconds for guards. I mean, take what you want with that. 29.5-inch vertical leap, 8 feet 2-inch broad jump, 28 reps on the bench press. Get it in. He ran a 7.85 in the 3-cone drill, which is important for our offensive linemen. And he was graded with an athleticism score of 79, which was 5th among all guards in this class. Again, take with that what you want, but from film, once he gets his hands on you, he's pulling you down. He's throwing you around like a rag doll. Of course, he will verse a lot quicker defensive linemen in the NFL, but to allow 0 sacks in 2 seasons in the Big 12, very impressive. Our next pick was Byron Young out of Tennessee, not Alabama. 6'3", 245 pounds. That was round 3, pick 77. Before I get into what I think about him, this was a pretty cool story about Young. So Young worked as an assistant manager at Dollar General and also worked as a part-time employee at Burger King, accruing working experience as his football dream continued to fade, but a trial opportunity at JUCO school, Georgia Military College, provided an in. And from there, Young couldn't be stopped on his path to football. COVID interrupted the recruiting process for Young, but he remained persistent, sending his JUCO film to countless programs, and soon enough, interest began to bloom. It started with Old Dominion in South Alabama, and it wasn't long before an SEC program reached out as well, Tennessee. That right there just shows me this kid loves football. He really took some minimum wage jobs while also on the side using that money probably for protein, for nutrition, just to get in better shape. I'm sure he didn't have a huge house and grew up rich, obviously. So he really grinded and really wanted to play football at the highest level. And at the SEC, I mean, that's probably the highest level, right, in college. So he's hungry for this. And if you put a hungry young little wolf near Aaron Donald, you know what's going to happen, man. So I'm very excited. Some things about him is he will likely need to put on size as edge for being 6'3", 240. He might want to get up to like 260, 255. All muscle, of course, add-on muscle. His arms actually at 33 inches for an edge is pretty good. It can help him with his hand techniques and getting his arms by slower tackles. He does have a motor on him from watching some film, and he seems very relentless in his ability to push the line. Now, as I mentioned, playing alongside Aaron Donald, that's just going to boost him if he really wants it. So that'll just be the strength portion that I feel he needs to work on, but the kid's just an athletic freak. Not really a great run stopper, but he's a pass rush specialist. And I mean, most edge rushers now are. Of course, you want to set the edge when running backs bounce out and make that tackle, but you know, it's a passing league, so most edge guys are pass rush specialists that are starting. In his 20 starts at Tennessee, he had 80 tackles, 21 and a half of those tackles for loss, 10 and a half sacks, and 22 QB hurries. He will be used a lot sooner, with Leonard Floyd still actually being a free agent out there, which just shows you that he may not be the best edge guy, and at the age of 30, may have lost a step, but playing next to Aaron Donald boosted him further and really showed his potential after being considered a bust at Chicago. His 40 time was 4.43 seconds. Pretty damn fast. 38-inch vertical leap, 11-foot broad jump. And if you compare him to someone that was second last year in the league in sacks, Hassan Reddick, he had a better 40 time, higher vertical leap, and a higher broad jump. Kid's just a freak. Our third round pick was a surprise to many. Some people actually had Kobe Turner going undrafted. With pick 89, though, we made him a LA Ram. At 6'2", 288, he is undersized. Not many defensive tackles at that size do well, besides maybe the greatest of all time, Aaron Donald. So a lot of people were scratching their heads at this pick. I know it's a lot of Rams fans on Twitter were very confused. So was I. So immediately I hit the film room and I really looked at his film. And one thing I noticed, yeah, he's very undersized, but this kid has a motor. He does not quit. He didn't get double teamed. It was always one man. And playing in LA, he's never going to get double teamed. So it was a good observation, right? So he was actually graded as the sixth best defensive tackle. Last year, he had 38 tackles, 10 of them for loss, 2 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 9 QB hits. So he was in the backfield a lot. He transferred from Richmond to Wake Forest last year. Try to get more exposure at a bigger college. At 24, he's still raw. But I guess I'll keep mentioning this with every defensive lineman. When you have Aaron Donald, the boys are gonna ball out. He's gonna have them benching 500 in no time. He had 31 reps on the bench. His 40 time 4.95. Nothing crazy, and he does have small arms at 32 inches. But he just knows how to use his body the right way. I feel that thus losing Robinson, he's definitely going to be needed to fill that void at defensive tackle. And Greg Gaines left, so a lot of these young guys are going to get thrown in there, and Aaron Donald, I feel, is really going to push a lot of these guys to some sleeper ability. Here's one of my more favorite picks because it was one of the guys on the Will Levis hype train. I really felt we needed a quarterback, as before the draft, we only rostered one in Matthew Stafford. Granted, Stafford's looking great right now in camp, looking healthy. He's throwing the ball, but you need a backup quarterback, right? If you watched the NFC Championship game, you notice that having backup quarterbacks is very important. I feel we got a lot of upside at this pick. Les Snead actually said Bennett was their target and their favorite quarterback of the draft. That doesn't mean he thinks he's the best quarterback, but reasonably, he felt that was the quarterback they could obtain and who they had at the top of their board. He played at Georgia, same as Matthew Stafford. The last 2 championships were won by Georgia, so he was a quarterback at the helm. As I mentioned, I wanted Levis if he fell to 36, but he didn't. I was just excited for Sean McVay to get his first quarterback under the helm. We haven't drafted one quarterback with McVay yet, and I'm excited to see what he could do with Bennett. Currently, he's going to be the QB2 behind Matthew Stafford. We did sign Brett Ripon, but he sucks. We let go of John Wolford and Bryce Perkins. They sucked. So I'm very excited to see what a young, can I call him young? Because he's going to be 26 in October. But a rookie can do with us. In 2021, he had 2,862 passing yards with 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. The following season, he jumped up that yardage by about 1,300 with 4,128 passing yards, 2 less touchdowns with 27 touchdowns, and the same amount of interceptions at 7. His completion percentage in 21 was 64. His completion last year percentage was 68%, and that's very good. In college, you really want to be accurate because in the NFL, the windows are very small compared to college. So 68% to me is very good. at the NFL level, that puts you in the elite category. Drew Brees was always up around there. And the main thing for me with Stetson from watching film, kid plays smart. He makes the play. He doesn't try to do too much. He actually is quite mobile. He can bounce it out the pocket and extend plays, which I know Sean McVay does like those type of quarterbacks with Baker Mayfield, Bryce Perkins, John Wolford. Those three guys weren't the best, but they were mobile and they could extend plays. Stafford's a pocket guy. He can move out the pocket, but we prefer him not to due to his injury history. So that's Stetson Bennett. Really like him, and I'm excited. So if you'd like to support the team and become a part of the Titles tribe, make sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Toilets to Titles. We have 5 levels. First level being the base level. It's $3 a month. You get in-season waiver wire episodes. $5, you get guaranteed invite into Frankenstank League. At $7.50, you get one-on-one draft advice, DFS advice. That's a good one. At $10, you get free entry into Frankenstank League, $25 value. So, I mean, if you're thinking about joining Frankenstank, might as well join the Patreon. And then at $20, you get one-on-one roster analysis, 30-minute episode breaking down your league's draft. Now, at $20, that's a steal. Like, if you're one of those people that plays fantasy football and you're going on Google and who should I start? You know, you're going on to these different apps with a lot of users that's free. You don't know if they're really giving you the best advice, right? They could be trolling you, telling you to take the worst guy, you know. Some people are haters. They don't want you to succeed. So at $20, like, you get with one of us and we could look at your roster and really break it down. I think that really helps you, especially if you're new to fantasy football, really get the best advice. And, you know, it's always better if it's one-on-one. It's more personal. So, yeah, make sure to check out the Patreon. And don't miss out because Toilets to Titles is going up. All right. So the Rams' last pick in round 5 was Puka Nacua. I hope I'm saying that right. At pick 177 out of BYU. Now, he was someone I really didn't know too much about before the draft. A couple of guys on the team, CFB Nation, they all knew about all these guys. But me, I'm a little new to the college scene. But after the Rams take guys, I love to just watch film on them and really see what they have and try to understand what Snead and company really seen in this kid. And first thing that pops out is he reminds me of a Robert Woods. Kid was getting yak, passes out of the backfield, taking it for 20, 30 yards down the field, blocking for his teammates. That's what the Rams love right there. I do see him being a starter for us in no time. We let go of Allen Robinson in a trade to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was someone that was big on Allen Robinson, and I thought we really would give him another shot with us. You know, we had a lot of injuries and a lot of moving pieces, but I trust the Rams front office and what they've seen from Allen Robinson, and obviously what we've seen. Although not much time to get open, he really didn't show that Odell Beckham speed, you know, that blocking. He wasn't a fit for us. I think he might do good in Pittsburgh, and I do wish him the best, of course. And us not getting Odell Beckham Jr. back in horns. So that really leaves us with a thin wide receiver room. Obviously, you have Cooper Kupp, to me, the best receiver in the league. But then after that, it's a big drop-off. You have Van Jefferson. To me, he's a number 3. Ben Skoranek, a number 3-4. Tutu Atwell, a 5. You know, someone that you could throw in there to throw a bomb to. And you really have to throw outs to him. He's so small, like you can't go across the middle with him. And, yeah, you could give him some wide receiver handoffs, wide receiver reverses. But is that what you really want from your number 2 wide receiver? Especially if you're playing on the Rams and McVay loves to throw the ball. So I think Puka is going to be a starter very soon. And that's been something I've mentioned with a lot of these rookies. The Rams really let go of a lot of veterans this offseason, cleared cap for next year, and we're going to rely on these young guys. And the good thing about that is we have a solid core in Stafford, Cup, and Donald. So they're going to learn a lot. Now, if they're willing to learn, and if what I've seen on film can translate to the NFL, then I think we just got some steals. At pick 182 in round 6, we got Tre'vius Hodges-Tomlinson. Sounds familiar, right? That's LaDainian Tomlinson's nephew. If he's anything remotely like LT, we got the steal of the century. All right, they play different positions. Obviously, Tre'vius is a cornerback. He's short. He is 5'9", which is the reason I feel he slid in the draft. And from reading some reports, that's a big part of why he slid. A lot of tall receivers. You see a guy 5'9", you're not able to play as physical on the line as before. So you want taller cornerbacks, I guess. But one thing you can't take away is the kid won the Jim Thorpe Award last year, which is awarded to the best defensive back. And watching film, the kid's just got great physical abilities. He really can stay inside wide receivers, and he could really tackle well. And if he's going to be the replacement for Jalen Ramsey, per se, then he's going to have to tackle, right? Ramsey's the best tackling cornerback, maybe of all time, right? So I don't think he's going to be as physical as Ramsey. Ramsey's size just made it a little more easier for him. But I feel like he's going to be a starter soon. With our cornerbacks, we currently have Kobe Durant listed as the cornerback 1, Darion Kendrick, the cornerback 2, and Robert Rochelle, cornerback 3. So if it stays like that and the Rams don't bring in any veteran help at cornerback, then I could see him starting as soon as week 1 and being a good sleeper for us. And I'm excited. I'm just excited to see how these young guys do. I think Kobe Durant played very good last year. Darion Kendrick, another physical cornerback. He did get beat a few times and didn't really play too much after that, just with Kobe Durant injured. Came in more often. But I'm excited to see what he can do. He switched his number to 1. See if he can be the number 1 for us. And then, there's a lot of draft picks here that we made. I do want to talk about quickly our round 5 pick. Warren McClendon out of Georgia. That dude is a monster. He also didn't allow a sack last year. I don't believe in the last 2 years he allowed a sack. He's a tackle. I do think he could be a starter for us as well with Havenstein getting up there in age. But with him, more so I think we're going to let him be groomed. I really want to focus on guys I could see really starting for us this year. And that lastly brings me to Zach Evans. Remember that name out of Ole Miss. And his 40 time was 4.45, sixth best of all running backs. 40 times are cool, but I like to see how you run on the field, right? That's different. You got adrenaline. You got pads. You got someone trying to knock your head off. He really ran the ball well downhill. He did not give up on plays. This kid will hit you before you hit him and just run forward. Cam Akers is the same style too. I think the Rams just love that. Those downhill runners who can make contact. A knock on him, he's not much of a pass-catching back. Only 30 career receptions in 3 seasons. Not all of those seasons were fully played outside last year. 2 of them at TCU, and then last year at Ole Miss. But he showed a nose for the end zone last year. He had 936 rushing yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, and 1 receiving touchdown. He had over 1,000 scrimmage yards, 1,055. And he has 2 guys in front of him right now. He has Cam Akers, who was arguably one of the best running backs to end the season last year. If you had him in fantasy and didn't drop him, trade him, you're probably happy with the results. He had a lot of 100-yard games, 3 consecutive at one point with Baker Mayfield, and he looked like he was over his Achilles injury. So it's definitely not going to be something Zach Evans is going to be given to. But Cam Akers has had injury problems outside of last year. And last year, to start the year, he was actually talked about being traded. Evans right now is listed number 3 behind Cam Akers and Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams is undersized. I can see him turning into more of our pass-catching back. But I really feel that if Akers is injured or struggles, Zach Evans is going to be a nice sleeper for those of you doing rookie drafts coming up. You could look for him in late round 3, round 4. We are doing a rookie mock draft this Tuesday. You'll see this on Wednesday. So you're going to have to see who I take. All right, Ramley. So we went over a lot of the rookies that I like, our top picks. And I feel like every guy listed can be a starter. There's a lot of potential with all of them. And I told you I'd give a grade on what I felt the Rams deserve. And I'm going to give them an A. So close to giving them an A+, but I don't think you could give anyone an A+ until you see what these guys really can do. It is the NFL, and we see this year after year, like draft classes get graded an A+, and then a lot of the guys don't pan out. And we're talking the Rams, whose first pick was round 2, so there's a very good chance that a lot of these guys I talked about maybe don't pan out, but I have confidence in all of them from watching film and how they really fit with us. A lot of them are older rookies, but they fit the scheme. A lot of them were reaches, per se, but a lot of them fit the scheme. So, Ramley, Toilets to Title family, I want to thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to bringing you guys Rams content every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be for sure gearing up as the season gets closer, and in season, I'm going to be doing live streams. I want to bring on fans from other teams the Rams are playing that week to talk about the matchup. If the other fan wants to talk a little crap, we could talk a little crap. But if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're a returning member, welcome back. Thank you. Smash that like button. It really helps. I'm sure if you've been following us, the subscriber count's just going up. We have big goals, and we appreciate every single one of you for tuning into all of the shows. So take care of yourself. Take care of each other. One love. Ramley.
It's 4 a.m. in New Bedford, I'm getting my shit together. City just ain't safe, these kids down for whatever. Letting the lead fly, they flocking just like a feather. I couldn't stay there forever, career not getting better. I ain't a rapper, can't imagine not getting cheddar. They posting pics in they base models, not even leather. It's not even leather. It's 4 a.m. White, wait. The city just ain't